5:19. All right, first item is, can I get a motion for the approval of the agenda?
Motion to approve the agenda?
All right, any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
All right. All right, moving on to item number 3. You should have a copy of the February 19th, 2026 meeting minutes. Can I get a motion for approval of those minutes or any
I
comments?
move that we approve those minutes.
I'll second.
All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
Passes unanimously. Awesome. Moving right along to item number 4, presentations. For a financial review, Ms. Allison Sparks, I believe, is online, and her presentation, which we have a copy of in front of us, is shared right now. You ready?
Hi, good afternoon, everybody. Wanted to thank you all for being present today. I know it's last week of school, probably joining the meeting today. We're going to go through our claims as usual and see sort of where we landed through the month of April as far as claims go, and then also really just discuss the final decisions that were made as it relates to plans and enrollment period. So as we look at this is our self-funded versus our fully insured equivalent. So you're getting more familiar with this page, but essentially what we're looking at here is our claims by month for the current plan year, 25-26. We also have included the estimated fixed costs, which are premiums, fixed fees due for our administration, and a combination of those two here is our total SM or total self-funded costs. So this is showing by month what our plan has cost us on average based on this average enrollment and fixed cost. We're looking at about a $9 million spend through April. And when we compare that to our fully insured equivalent, which is essentially just using our enrollment multiplied by our COBRA equivalent rates, we are at 9.3 million on that fully insured equivalent, giving us approximately a 98% loss ratio for the year to date through, again, through April. Something, of course, to note is that when we're looking at these claims incurred, we've discussed this in prior meetings, this does not include any of the runout claims that were paid by the district for services rendered prior to June 30th of 2025. Some of those claims, of course, are rollover, and the district is responsible for those in a self-funded plan. We don't see them captured in these growth months because there was a transition in reporting. They are noted down here that the district has spent approximately $2 million in additional claims for those prior months in the last plan year. So truly we're looking at more like about a $2.8 million spend, or excuse me, an additional $2 million spend on claims this year. So something worth noting. For the prior year, we are looking at, again, that 134% loss ratio just as a frame of reference. And for the year even before that, running at about 119% for the prior year as well. Also included our claims by plan year. This is strictly just claims dollars, so this does not include the cost for administrative services. So when we look at our claims by plan year, you see over the last several years, our claims, this current year is this blue, we're at, again, 7.9 million in claims. Again, it does not include the about $2 million that have been paid out from the prior year. So when we look at this green bar, this is technically where we would add those $2 million in run-out claims, as that's when those claims were incurred during the 24-25 plan year. Another note is that for claims paid in the 24-25 plan year, the district has also received, there's notes here, approximately $1.1 million in reimbursements from the stop loss vendor for those folks who reached and exceeded that individual stop loss deductible. We have also, as a district, received some additional stop-loss reimbursements for our high-cost claimants for 25-26. Currently, that's at about $285,000 in stop-loss reimbursements. But as we look in coming pages, we'll see our high-cost claimants and where we might expect to see some additional reimbursement for some of those specific high-cost claimants. This just brings us down to claims year to date. So on our prior page here, this is looking at essentially all of these plan years full, knowing that our blue here is through April. And so this page here is showing the same data, except for instead of full plan years that are prior, we're looking at the actual same claims year to date. So each of these years is showing the claims paid for the months of July through April for the prior years. This gives you just a frame of reference as to where we are this year compared to where we were last year. Again, same sort of items apply as far as stop-loss reimbursement or runoffs, et cetera, but gives you an idea of where we are compared to the prior year for the same periods. As far as our high cost claimants, we have been made aware, obviously, I've been tracking these over the last several months, that for this current plan year, these are our top high cost claimants. As a note, each row is one individual with a specific diagnosis. They may have additional diagnoses as well. What this is they paid is sort of what the plan paid. We have, if you remember, that aggregating specific deductible that has to be accumulated up to $480,000 before the stop-loss reimbursements would begin. So between the first 4 high-cost claimants, that aggregating specific deductible was satisfied. And so anything now above that for these folks who are incurring $150,000 or more per individual will now begin to be reimbursed on that stop-loss basis. So as you can see, we have some pretty heavy hit here. And now that aggregating specific deductibles that reach additional claims for these folks will begin to be reimbursed through the stop-loss reimbursement process. So we do anticipate more reimbursements for these folks in the coming several months. Questions, comments on any of the claims? I have historical data here for our large cost claims. Last year, we ended up for the full year about $2.3 million, and then for the prior year at about $2.6 million. So unfortunately, we are still on track to probably about the same amount as the last two years for this current plan year. We'll really come out and wash the claims through. As far as renewal decisions, this year, given all of the changes that were made last year to TPA, pharmacy, network, all of that, this year the district opted to renew with all of their incumbent carriers. So on the medical side, the third-party administrator remained Personified, continuing with Pharos RX, using the Blue Cross Network and IMS, which is our medical network access as well. One change, however, this year is that the district discontinued that high deductible health plan with the HSA. If you remember in our prior meeting, we discussed potential savings for that based on actuarial findings. And so the district opted, after discussing with employees and various surveys and compensation committee meetings, that was the best course of action to remove that plan and continue instead the PPO limited payment PPO 1000 plans. District also opted to renew with Garner on their HRA, which allows for employees to submit for reimbursement when they are seeing the high-value doctors under the Blue Cross Network, using Garner as their care navigation tool. So continuing to offer that. And then as far as the stop-loss coverage, continuing to review that location-wide, and the likelihood that the individual stop-loss deductible will increase from $150,000 to $250,000 in an effort to help buy down some of this cost on the self-funding plan. As far as our ancillary services go, again, no major changes to any of the carriers. The dental continues with MetLife. The vision program will continue with IMED, though this year, starting July 1st, it will be self-funded as well. So we have very administrative services contract only. The district those premiums, our fully insured equivalent premiums, the same. The basic life benefits also stayed with Symetra, but was increased from a benefit of $20,000 per employee up to $50,000 per employee. And then the voluntary life program that employees are eligible to increase their life insurance also stays with Symetra with no increase to the premium on policies. This year, the district also opted to move their current supplemental policies already through Aflac from a platform that was essentially individual plans to a group-based platform. So there's a significant cost savings to the employees and ease access for enrollment for their employees as well. So that was really the kind of the only primary changes there. Again, relatively minor changes, all relatively positive for the employees and in an effort to increase their benefits and to help keep those costs at a manageable rate. So that's really everything that I had for today. Happy to help answer any questions if there are any.
No questions? All righty, moving on to agenda item 4A2, Ms. Jamie Walden.
Okay, thank you. So I just wanted to let you know that we are almost done paying out claims from Aetna, which was our TPA from the prior year, which I'm glad. I'm glad to be, having two going at the same time is difficult. So we're almost done with those. Obviously, from Allison's report, we're looking pretty good this year at the 98%, not being over the 100. We haven't seen that in quite a while, so that's great news. We were happy to be able to provide those two PPO plans for the employees for next year. I think the staff are very happy about it. They're looking forward to only having to meet a copay instead of having to meet that deductible or that high deductible before they're able to go to a doctor and not have to pay out of pocket other than just the copay. So that's really great. And the other thing that I just wanted to mention was that we're now part of an Arizona pool, and so as being a part of that pool, we're not required to have a board anymore. We were required when we started. And I think Allison could speak to any of the questions you might have about that because she would know more. But I did want to say that obviously we appreciate your service to our district and to our staff, and really listening and thinking thoughtfully about the decisions to be made for the insurance. And so I just appreciate you guys being here and doing that for our district. And that's really all I have. Allison, did you want to speak to that at all, or?
Yeah, so just a little bit about the board. Again, echo Jimmy's sentiments. We appreciate your time in this and the thoughtful consideration and questions and disengagement with all of this process. Understand that there's a lot of information that we're sharing through each meeting, and having your input and your insight has been really, really helpful, and so we are certainly appreciative of that. But as it stands, so the district has joined for really the full year of 24, so 25, 26. The district has been operating under the Arizona Health Pool, which is a procurement compliance self-funded trust. And as part of that participation for the district, the Arizona Health Pool's Board of Trustees can serve actively as the district's Board of Trustees for their employee benefits program. And that is primarily because of the stop loss program that's in place currently with under Arizona Health Pool for the district. And so it doesn't change, being under the Arizona Health Pool doesn't change anything at all about the district's benefits or the decision-making capabilities of the district, the flexibility or autonomy of the plan. It really instead just allows for the district to operate a procurement compliant platform without having to also manage their own board meetings and board minutes and open meeting requirements. And so that's a little bit of background as to why that is in order to be a requirement for the district to have their own employee benefit trust board. Again, appreciate your time and all of your feedback in this, and thoughtful questions. It's been really a pleasure to work with you guys. Thank you.
Yes, thank you.
Any questions about that? All right, well, this is our last opportunity, and item number 5, really good of the order. Anything really good of the order?
This has been very informative, and I loved trying to help.
As an employee for the district, it's been great to talk and share with people, get them, excited about it, thinking about it, and seeing programs grow within the trainings and all that kind of stuff. So it's been nice. It's been fun.
Yeah, I echo that. It's been a short amount of time, but just living in the HR world, my day job, it's been awesome to be able to see what other organizations are doing. And Allison, you're like stellar at what you do, and I have high expectations of our brokers now in my other world. And so, yeah, it's been good, and it's been great for me, especially when teachers reach out and employees about changes and ask, and the whys behind it. And so you do a job at the board meetings too to explain that, but it's just given me a little bit extra education around it. So I appreciate you all for doing that, but I am not sad that it's one less thing. So, if nothing else to get in order, I'm going to adjourn this meeting at 5:36.